Hey, so here I am out in the woods again in the middle of another one of my walks. And people might wonder, why are you always doing these things when you're walking? And it's for a bunch of reasons. The first one is that I feel kind of blessed. I live in the most beautiful borough in the state of Pennsylvania, and it's Cherry Valley Borough in northern Butler County. And I feel really blessed to be out walking in it. And the second reason is that several months ago, my doctor said, "Hey, Mike, you know, your blood pressure's heading up into the high range. You know, you've always had low blood pressure, and now all of a sudden it's spiking." And then a few weeks after that, my arthritis doctor said about this chronic hip condition I have, "Hey, Mike, you know, this may be as good as it's going to get." And my first thought was, F that. Both blood pressure and to this hip thing. And so I've been on this tear where I'm walking and biking quite a bit, and my blood pressure's down, my weight's down, and my hip is, it's at least tolerable now because I'm carrying less weights. Anyway, yeah, so that's one reason. And the second reason is that I tend to think better after I've had a bit of a walk. I spend most of my early mornings first making breakfast for Karen and me, and then reading newspapers from a wide variety of sources, and then also research reports and that kind of stuff. And one of the things that's really struck me, especially since the tour, is poverty. You know, when I've talked about this in the past. You know, I spent several nights in a row in the back of my car when I was on the Trouble with Normals, It Always Gets Worse tour. And I thought how blessed I was. You know, I was warm and everything. But then I started thinking about people who were in less tenable positions than I'm in. And it got me thinking about poverty and coupling that with health. A friend of mine on Facebook often says in her post, Jenna says, we live in a country without access to health care. And sure enough, we do. Yeah, I mean, the Democrats talk about, and the Republicans talk about how everyone can get health care. Well, you can't get health care if you can't afford it. And that, unfortunately, is one of the ramifications of Obamacare. We have high deductibles and high copays on some of those policies, and that's just horrible. We should have a universal healthcare system where everyone has access to free and affordable and quality healthcare. That would pay dividends in a number of ways. Number one, and I think this is most important, it would lead to a healthier population, but it also would free a lot of people from some rather horrible situations. Some people, women in particular, are stuck in abusive relationships because that's how they get access to health care. Some people are stuck in horrible jobs because they can't leave them. They hate them. They go to them every stinking day and they hate them, but they can't leave because of health care for themselves or for some of their loved ones, maybe their children who have special conditions. Yeah, so that's one thing we need. And the other thing I've been thinking about was this morning I read two studies. They were on something called universal basic income. And again, this is an idea whose time has come and is continuing to come. It's way more cost effective to give people $6,000 or $13,000 every year than to put them in the system, where the system decides what they need to do, how they need to act. And what the studies show is that people get out of poverty when they have access to a steady source of income. They can get jobs easier. They can get access to health care easier. They can do all kinds of things. They can improve their education. They can get out of abusive relationships. All kinds of stuff. Now, I'm going to quote a known left-wing radical here. Yeah, rest in peace. Richard Nixon, back in the early 70s, proposed a universal basic income. That's why I mentioned the 13,000, because he proposed a reverse income tax, which was worked out to about $1,500 and would translate now into $13,000. And it was tried in a few places, and one of the things that killed it was that they found that 7% of men and 17% of women dropped out of the labor force as a result of this universal basic income. And what's wrong with that is that there are legitimate reasons to drop out of the labor force if you're in poverty. And one of them is, like, if you're a woman, maybe you're going to devote some time to childcare. Maybe you're going to get some education. That's to be true for a man or a woman. And both of those things pay dividends to the government. The second thing was they found that divorce rates went up after universal basic income was implemented in some test programs. Well, guess what? Again, of course divorce rates are going to go up if now someone who's in an abusive relationship has access to income that they didn't have access to before. So yeah, let's get into universal basic income. Now, here's the other thing that I was thinking about this morning, and that is we all too often hear from corporations who want to be on corporate welfare, aid for dependent corporations, that they need access to our money. And they want that money without many strings attached. And on top of that, they demand often that we relax regulations and whatnot. Now, what I would contend is that what's good for corporations is probably also good for our poor people. Study after study has found that if people have money that they are able to use as they see best, that money will be more wisely spent. As it turns out now, many of our programs that are for the poor are actually corporate welfare schemes. We funnel our poor people into corporate housing. We funnel our poor people into corporate medical care. We funnel our poor people into all kinds of corporate get-rich-quick schemes. And we need to quit doing that. We need to trust our poor folks that they can make the best decisions for them. I don't think poor people are any less worthy of that than corporations. So anyway, hope you're having a good day. I know I sure as heck am so far. I'm getting ready to go to urgent care because one of the side effects of walking in the woods is that I had a tick attach himself to me, and now I got a little rash, and my doctor thinks I should get it looked at. I'm feeling good, but we shouldn't be messing with these things. So I'm definitely sprayed up now, and I'm definitely got my socks tucked, my pants tucked into my socks, and I'm being careful where I walk. But anyway, hey, have a good one. See you sometime tomorrow, probably. Bye.